Hola a todos, muy buenas tardes, muy buenos días. Bienvenidos al entrenamiento de Ventas y Capacitación Técnica Esencial de SKAARHOJ. Mi nombre es Jorge Monpó, el CEO de Intec TV. Les damos la bienvenida a todos y disculpas por las demoras técnicas que hemos tenido para comenzar el webinar. Para nosotros, o sea, en Intec TV, es un honor contar con la reputación y trayectoria de SKAARHOJ como una solución eficaz de control broadcast que se ha venido abriendo camino en la elite internacional de soluciones de control, superficie de control, desarrollando y fabricando paneles de control universal para la producción de transmisiones en vivo. Con esta alianza seguimos comprometidos, como saben, a crecer y fortalecer nuestra presencia en todos los países de América Latina, ofreciendo así productos con funcionalidad, operatividad, durabilidad y el mejor servicio a nuestros clientes. En este caso nos complace tener como invitado a Maciej Janicewski de SKAARHOJ. Bienvenido, welcome Maciej. So we are going to do it in English and Spanish. Maciej ha dedicado más de una década en su carrera a la industria de la transmisión y a los eventos en vivo, obteniendo una valiosa experiencia en varios roles dentro de los principales fabricantes de la industria. Desde los inicios en su soporte técnico hasta sus emprendimientos posteriores en ingeniería, aplicaciones y ventas técnicas, ha desarrollado una comprensión integral de la industria audiovisual. Actualmente, Maciej se desempeña como gerente técnico de ventas en SKAARHOJ, supervisando las regiones de América del Norte, América Central, del Sur, Asia Pacific y Oceanía. So, Maciej, welcome. I'm so glad to have you with us. You are joining us from Copenhagen, Denmark. And anyway, how are the extended daylight hours treating you? You are up north.
Yeah, thank you very much. I can only agree with what you've said because, yeah, my Spanish is quite bad, so yeah, it is a daylight here till forever, so it's fine for me, not great for my kids.
Okay. Well, anyway, Maciej, we want to learn about today about SKAARHOJ. Tell us about the company.
Yeah, thank you. So I prepared a small PowerPoint just to show you what we are doing at SKAARHOJ and how we work. So I'm going to try to share it now with you. Yeah, probably just waiting a second until you can see it on your screen, I guess. Now it's there.
Yes.
Excellent. So it all begins with a story. Definitely there is a story of SKAARHOJ. SKAARHOJ is a brand which was created in Denmark. I am in Copenhagen right now. And our history goes back to 2012, where the current CEO of SKAARHOJ, Kasper, his last name is SKAARHOJ, that's why the company name sounds very, very Danish. So Kasper started, he was working in university. He started working on integrations with ATEM and the controllers for ATEM from Blackmagic. Yeah, at first he had it as a garage project, and in 2018 the company has started as SKAARHOJ APS, so based in Denmark. It was very, very quickly doubled in size. Actually the same year we've doubled in size, and we've been growing since then. In 21, I joined the company, but we also started the office in America, in Burbank, California. And in 2022, this has been a big milestone year because we've migrated from the original platform, which was called Unisketch, to the new platform, which is called Bluepill. So right now, everything is about the Bluepill. Yeah, as I mentioned, we are based in Denmark. All of the products are designed in Denmark. They're built in Denmark. So whenever you decide to purchase the product, you will purchase it from Denmark. So definitely the origin will be Europe. Then also our headquarters is in Denmark, and all of the operations are done from here. But as I mentioned, we do have American office, which we started 2 years ago, and this is in Burbank, California. Also, we do have international team working for us remotely. As SKAARHOJ is IP-based, we allow everything IP, which includes also the company operations itself. So we do have people in Austria, in Poland, in America, as mentioned before, in Ukraine. So spread all over the world. Now, a couple of reasons why you should use SKAARHOJ, why SKAARHOJ is something that should be considered. So first of all, the very important part is our integrations. SKAARHOJ provides universal hardware tactile controllers for multiple different brands. And this wouldn't be possible without us partnering with a lot of manufacturers. So we do partner with camera manufacturers, we do partner with switcher manufacturers, we do partner with router manufacturers, with audio manufacturers, all sort of companies from different parts of the workflow in broadcast, but also in AV. And by partnering, this is not only just having their logo on our website. This is actual real partnership. When we implement or integrate a control for third-party products, for example, a camera, then we always try to do as deep as possible integration, and we always try to get the feedback from the device. So when you change something in the software, then this will be reflected on our panel, and you will always have the overview of what is happening on the device that you're controlling. Another point of SKAARHOJ is that it is a flexible platform and a flexible solution. As I mentioned, we do integrate control for multiple different devices, starting with cameras, ending with audio mixers. And so we do have products which are quite specific for specific usages. However, there is nothing against using our product for multiple different purposes. And also, user has a full flexibility, so he can assign any single parameter to any single button or encoder and just create his own control surface as you like, as you prefer this to be. Definitely, we do provide also configurations which are ready to go, but you can always tweak it or start from scratch and build your own complete new configuration. The only thing that can kind of block you is your imagination, really. Then SKAARHOJ offers modularity. And if you're a reseller, then this might help you to cross and upsell our products. If you are more on the user side, this helps you to grow within time. You don't need to purchase the full system immediately at once. You can just buy one controller, then add another controller, and those two would work as one. Then you can add another one to get some more functionality. So the left side would be PDZ control, while on the right side, we are adding the vision mixing control. And then you might need also audio. So all of that can be added, and all of those panels, they can work together and create one system, can be managed from one software.
El audio, porfa, que mejor un poco sigue escuchando.
We do different form factors for different controllers, for different control type. And this is mainly to be able to offer multiple different layouts based on your needs. So if you need a small controller, you can get into the left side of this slide with the really small ones. If your operation is like all the time, 24/7, then you probably need to have access to multiple functions, and then you're gonna go with the large controller. Now, also you might think that, okay, the large controller would control multiple cameras while the small one is for just small number of cameras. And this is actually not true with SKAARHOJ. With SKAARHOJ, every controller is equal. Every controller has the same brain, the same CPU power, and can control the same number of cameras. The only difference between different controllers is actually the layout of the buttons and the accessibility of different functions. All of our products are IP based, and you just need one cable to go and control multiple devices. So let's say you have a device, and then you can control it to PoE switch, which gives you not only power for a controller, but also it allows you to talk to multiple other devices, to cameras, to vision mixers, to routers, to audio devices, using the same one cable. The only requirement is that all of those devices are in the same LAN network. This also allows remote operations. We do have ourselves a setup with our office in America, but our showroom is in Copenhagen. Our colleagues in America, they can connect to Copenhagen through just standard IP network, do the VPN tunnel, and control every single camera that is in our showroom from the panel which is in America. Then SKAARHOJ also offers some unique features, and definitely those are the ones that differentiate us from the controllers from specific manufacturers. For example, we can use the PDZ controller to not only select the camera, but also send the routing trigger directly to your vision mixer or to your switcher, just to send this particular input to the auxiliary port, and then you can see on the screen what you're actually controlling. We also support trigger like tally forwarding. Whenever there is a program and preview on your vision mixer, then you can see it on your PDZ controller, for example. So by pressing one button, we can actually do multiple commands for different multiple devices. There are, of course, a lot of small, tiny details that differentiate us from the others, but this is not actually the point of this presentation. So definitely, if you need to learn more, then you can contact Intec or ourselves, and then we're happy to help and guide you through that. The next point here is applications. So where you can use our controllers and where we are originally strong and where we want to be, where we position ourselves. So definitely broadcast. This is our main vertical market, but also a lot of live productions. Especially in America, we're very strong in houses of worship. When you have a lot of volunteers, and for those volunteers, you want to have a very, very simple controller, then this is the perfect use for that. Then a lot of streamers would use our solution, and this could be streaming within corporation, or this could be just one-man band, we call it. So one person who is controlling multiple cameras, who is controlling his vision mixing all from one single or two small SKAARHOJ panels. Then we're also existing in corporate market and in education. Here are some examples of very common applications that we can see with our customers, that we see that, yeah, those are the ones that are being used. So definitely really big market for us is PDZ cameras. and our panels, which are in many cases much better than the panels, the original panels from the specific manufacturer. We can work with all of the top brands like Sony, Panasonic, Canon, Bird Dog, PDC Optics, but we can work also with multiple smaller brands, which, yeah, I can name, but this would take too much time. Another solution would be tactile control for your vision mixing system, which is, for example, software-based like vMix. Or it could be ATEM Constellation from Blackmagic Design, which doesn't actually have a panel. We do provide this tactile feeling, and we do provide the real broadcast switcher feeling for software applications. Then we are also very, very strong in professional shading with our RCP products, and we actually allowed cinema cameras to be used in broadcast or in multicam scenarios. Our work with Red, our work with ARRI, with Sony, this allows those cameras which were not normally used in those kind of applications to be used there. So large sensor, much better picture, and still it can be used in live sports. Then we've got a lot of products for video or audio routing. We also support open protocols like SWP08. So yeah, there is a lot of freedom of creating your own panel for routing. Then we've got multiple devices controlled from single panel. So as I mentioned, this one-man band, this could be a perfect solution with our Rack Fusion Live, which you can see here on the slide, which allows you to control vision mixing, but also PDZ control. This can be done in multiple different ways using different devices. It can be 2 devices, bigger form factor, if you need more accessibility. But the general approach is that, yeah, you can have multiple cameras from different manufacturers. You can have 1 or multiple vision mixing systems and then control them from 1 small panel, or maybe 2, or maybe 4. Up to you. There is really a freedom of choice. Then we also work with larger manufacturers providing more broadcast style systems, and this a good example could be Kairos from Panasonic, where we don't actually compete with their large surface, their large control surface. We're more considered as a smaller brother when you need to have a fly pack for Kairos, or you need to have a location where you can just do a couple of inputs and then mixing, but you still want to have the high quality. You still want to use the proper T-bar, then our panels could be a solution here. Finally, audio, we've been working with direct out, but we also have we call it device core, so the set of parameters for a specific device. So we have device core for Behringer, we have device core for Digico, we have device core for some other brands, also open protocols like OSC, and very recently QSC created a plugin for the waveboard. So we can just provide a tactile motorized fader bank with 8 channels, 4 channels, or multiple channels when you use multiple devices. And finally, and this is actually the main point which you need to understand, any application that requires physical buttons or encoders or faders or joysticks or T-bars or whatever you can imagine, any product that you can see on our website, this can be used for your control. We also allow system integrators to write their own configuration for the panel and to write their own integration. Yeah, one thing that I really would love you to remember after this webinar is that this is your hardware for any application. And then the number of panels that we have, the variety of different components that we have on the panels and different layouts, it allows you to select a lot of different options and things. Okay, now moving to products. So I will guide you a little bit on the products that we have. As you might have seen on our website, or maybe not, but hopefully yes. We do have a lot of different products, a lot of different options. So we've decided together with Intec that we're gonna show you top sellers, and we're gonna show you which devices, which specific SKUs are selling the most in North America this year. So if you look on the left table based on revenue, so how much money you can make on our panels if you're a reseller, then definitely PDZ Extreme is the one that is bringing the most revenue from all of the controllers, and this is valid for the world. Actually, this is not only North America. And this has been new this year, but always the PDZ controllers were the most interesting business-wise and money-wise controllers. And you can see also, if you look at first 10, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 PDZ controllers out of 10. So 40% of PDZ controllers are the highest revenue ones. Then we've got Airfly Pro and Master Q1, and those are vision mixing controllers, Waveboard, which is audio controller, and RCP Pro, which is a controller for cameras, for camera shading. If you look on quantity, then there is something a little bit different. So you can see that PDZ Extreme is also there, but it's only on the third place. The first two places are reserved for smaller products. So they don't bring as high revenue, but they are selling very, very well in terms of quantity. And we do have those super useful small items which are just required and by the market. I will get to that later on. But also you can see that, yeah, based on quantity, you've got 4 PDZ controllers in first 10. So the picture here is more or less similar. It's just those two items in the beginning, and I will get to that in a second. Those two are really quantity sales. So we shouldn't forget about them. And we tend to forget about them because we like to sell big panels. Okay, now going to details through different categories. So if we look at PDZ products, I've decided only to show you the top sellers and the ones that are new at this point. So definitely there will be more. There will be options on those controllers, but those are the ones that you should really focus on when you consider reselling SKAARHOJ, when you introduce SKAARHOJ to your customers, or when you are a customer and you're really looking into purchasing SKAARHOJ products. So we've got our PDZ Extreme, the flagship one, PDZ Pro, a bit smaller, and PDZ Fly, the tiny one, but it is fully functional one. As I mentioned before, it doesn't matter if there is a small controller or a large controller, all of them are equal and all of them will perform in the same way. It's just the accessibility for different multiple functions. You would need to do more presses of the buttons to get specific function using PDZ Fly. Yeah, the new things for here, this is PDZ View and FrameShot Pro. Yeah, those two, they have color screens where you can store presets. So really, really useful thing when we work in in a system which requires really quick access to the presets. Then we've got camera shading. So RCP Pro on the left, our flagship RCP controller with a very, very nice joystick, which is designed by us. You will never find on any other product a joystick with LED screen. Actually, it's OLED screen. And then Colorfly, which can be also used for shading, but you will see that Colorfly belongs to two categories. Both of those are in top 20. Then live switching, Airfly Pro, probably the best selling one in terms of live switching. We've got also Master Q1, which is our flagship one. And this is the one that was actually selected by Panasonic to work with Kairos. So the configuration you can see on Master Q1, this has been curated by Panasonic. So Panasonic told us, yeah, we want this button to do this and that button to do that. So this is more or less like a Panasonic panel in a way. Of course, you can use it for Blackmagic, you can use it for vMix, for any other device that we support. And then we've got MiniFly, which also jumped into top 20. And Rack Fusion Live, which is a mixture of PDZ controller. On the right side, you can see that this is exactly PDZ Fly. And on the left side, if you cut it in half, the left part would be Live Fly, so another product from us. But a lot of customers are using it together as one combined product. Then we've got something new. We've been showing this for quite some time. But I put it as a new because we've got a new approach to the mega panel right now. You can use any of our panels and combine them into bigger surface. We also provide those very nice wooden frames. So yeah, you can actually create your own 2ME, 3ME panel. You can select which components you want and how you want them to be laid out on the panel itself. So very, very new approach, very, very popular right now with bigger broadcasters or bigger streaming studios where you actually need to have access to multiple different channels at the same time. Then audio, this is our growing product category with Waveboard as the main one in the category, but we've got also a smaller brother, Waveboard Mini, which is the new one, and the Colorfly, which you saw also for shading. So you can use the same controller for different applications. You can use the same controller to shade cameras or to control your audio mixer. Or actually you can do both at the same time and switch just by pressing different buttons. Then we've got routing products. Yeah, with those, users really value full flexibility on what they can do with those. So a lot of system integrators are just programming whatever they need to have the nice, really high quality rack mounted panels. And finally, Link.io, so the small ones, which I mentioned before. Those three here would appear as a top 20. And this is definitely TCP link for ATEM. So this allows to send your own TCP commands to ATEM switchers for Blackmagic. So we are kind of a gateway, and the programming for that is really, really easy and very well documented on our YouTube channel or on our wiki page. So you can just go for that and you can check yourself. Then Ethernet to GPI link. So this can be a standalone system, like 2 boxes allowing to send GPI through Ethernet, or this works with all of our integrations. So when you press button on your Blackmagic, it will trigger the GPI contact to close. And finally, we have our own Tallybox system, which allows you also to react on triggers from either Blackmagic or TriCaster or vMix or any of our panels or any other integration. Well, you can actually set how you want those to work. But very useful for cameras which don't have tally at all, but you want to use them in broadcast application. Software. So as I mentioned, we've moved into Blue Pill platform, and right now to get to the software is embedded in all of our panels, and you just need to type in the IP address of the panel, and this will pop up with the very intuitive way of adding devices to control and adding multiple panels and then mapping the configuration onto the controller. So very useful, and I'm not sure how we are in time, but there is a plan to show you just a sneak peek of the software. But let's move to the next slide, where I will just show it to you. Those are the resources and the very useful pages. So I definitely encourage you to take a screenshot and visit those pages whenever you need. Definitely our YouTube channel, you can find hundreds of hours of material, and it can be very basic one, like how to connect to the panel, or going very deep, how to make a JSON code to change something on the panel itself and to change the panel's behavior. Then from the manual point of view, or actually the very important one is integration. So devices.skaarhoj.com, when you need to quickly check if your device or device you want to control from SKAARHOJ panel is already supported by us. All of the models are there, so you can just type in the model like Panasonic UE150, and then you will see if this is supported, and also all of the parameters that are supported on this specific implementation. Then we've got manuals and trophies. Trophies are our sort of application examples, and those can be found on wiki.skaarhoj.com. And finally, if you need to get like high quality pictures, if you need to get product description for your website, if you're reselling, if you need to get some bullet points on the specific product, every single SKU is in that portal. So skaarhoj.com/PID, which stands for Product Information Document. And yeah, you can always contact me. If you have technical questions, then you can contact support@skaarhoj.com. And that would be it from the PowerPoint. I think we do still have some time.
Yes.
Correct? Yeah.
Yes. We are going to be open now to questions. Vamos a ir con algunas preguntas. Pues tenemos unos minutos para los que quieran hacer preguntas. Tenemos una viniendo de Agustín, Argentina. So I'm going to translate that for you, Maciek. But anyway, I believe that was answered in a way on the integration link that about SKAARHOJ. Agustin is saying if there is a list, a compatibility list of brands and models that they have been proven to work with SKAARHOJ. So I believe that's an answer on the integration link with all the devices and compatibilities.
Let me show it. So devices, SKAARHOJ.com. And you're taken to the portal, and the only thing you need to do is you need to search for your device that you're interested in. So for example, item. Yeah, it's not very specific because there are a lot of items. So 2ME. Oh, it's not there. Maybe like this. No. 1ME. Okay, there should. Oh yeah, there's 4ME. Sorry, that was my mistake. So item 4ME, and you can click on that. You can see all of the item models that Oh yeah, I misspelled 2ME. I did write ME together without the slash. That's why I didn't write it. It didn't find it. So yeah, you can go through every single model, and then once you click on the model, you can see all of the parameter list. Actually, Blackmagic is pretty deep, and we do have a lot of parameters. I'm still scrolling.
Very long. Okay, muy larga.
So if you're interested in very specific parameter, which you know that you want to use from Blackmagic Switcher, then you can always search for it. It's like super source in there somewhere. It could be that it's not this model. Okay. Input. Yeah, there are 862, so I would need to be more specific on that. But anyway, if you have any specific parameter, then you can just search for it.
Okay. Good. Now we have another question. Tenemos otra pregunta. Viene de Guillermo en Argentina. Guillermo in Argentina. He wants to know what is, your opinion, what is the key differentiator, the key factor for a customer to select a SKAARHOJ versus SKAARHOJ compared with the original panel, the OEM panel of manufacturer, or the switcher or the router manufacturer that they need to be controlled. What is the customer would prefer to go to SKAARHOJ compared to go to the original Panasonic, let's say?
Yeah, and that's a great question. And in general, we are in partnership with all of the manufacturers, so we don't actively compete with their products. And this is entirely for customer to choose. There are a couple of things that are definitely different and innovative from our side. First of all, let's say we're talking PDZ control. So we are the only panel that can control multiple cameras of different brands in the same time. So let's say you have hundreds of Panasonic, but somehow at some point you got intrigued by Canon camera or Bird Dog camera, and you want to add it to your setup. What you would have to do normally is either to control it with Visca commands, which are quite basic, or you would need to add a second controller if you want to really go deep with the control. Once you use SKAARHOJ, you don't have this need for another controller, because we do control all of the cameras, and you can just add them, multiple types of cameras, different cameras, and yeah, you've got the full control of every single camera. That's one thing. Another thing is that if we're talking PDZ control, we're not only controlling the cameras themselves. Of course, this is the main point of that, but we also can send routing triggers to your vision switcher or to your router. So then in standard situation, you would either need to do some quite advanced and not very elegant setup with GPIs, or you would need to go through some other software to be able just to switch the vision for the camera that you select on your controller. In our case, when you select the camera, you can actually send the trigger also to your switching device, and then you can see the camera in front of you. And then you can see tallies also from the vision mixing system, which is something that probably no one can do from the controller manufacturers. And finally, the quality of the controller itself, and the variety also of different sizes, different layouts. But the quality, yeah, you saw the pictures, and when I first was introduced to SKAARHOJ, when I first saw the pictures and then I saw the product live, this was a big difference for me, because those OLED screens are really, really great with really high resolution. And also, when it is always good to just have a panel, take it in your hands. You can feel that this is like proper aluminium.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you. Let's see. We have another question coming. Okay. Now, first in Spanish. Diferencias fundamentales entre el Master Key One y el AirFly Pro para las aplicaciones de live switching. O sea, en este caso, in this case, is the key, the basic and fundamental differences between the Master Key One and the AirFly Pro units for applications of live switching.
Yeah. So, as I mentioned during my presentation, they're equal in a way they control the specific system. So, let's say you're using it with vMix, and exactly the same command can be accessed from either AirFly Pro or Master Key One. So the main difference is, first of all, in Master Key One, you've got a bit more buttons, and all of the buttons, or majority of the buttons, are NKK buttons. So this is like a more broadcast style and broadcast feel. AirFly Pro can also be ordered with NKK buttons, but it's only for program preview row and cut auto. While in Master Key One, the majority of buttons are NKK. And then there is a layout of the buttons and the layout of encoders and all of the parameters. Those are a bit different. And there is difference in price, mainly because of the NKK buttons, because they are quite pricey. But the way you operate the panel, it is very, very similar.
Okay, good. And the questions, they keep coming. I have another one. Now it says, when you add a new brand to be controlled to the system that you have already operated, is there a need to pay for another license for this new brand?
At this point, we don't have licensing. We might introduce it in future, but yeah, right now it is quite rather far future. So yeah, at this point you don't have to pay, but you need to know that we are a relatively small company and there are 300 devices supported right now. And you can imagine that every customer wants something different. So we always need to choose if we're working on this integration or on that integration.
Priorities, yes. Okay.
Another option is that in our panels, we allow also something called row panel. And this is the main protocol that runs all of our panels. And this allows either system integrators or other manufacturers to use our panels as their own, essentially. So with row panel, we are just sending triggers by pressing button, or this would be trigger on, trigger off, on, press on, press off, and then you can translate it into any commands you want. So there is a way to create your own integration if you are a programmer.
Okay.
Also, do have those partnerships with other manufacturers who actually create their own implementation of our panel. And relatively new ones that we showed at Infocom last month, this is QSC, or sorry, QSys, with plugins for audio devices and with plugin for PDZ Fly. And then there is also Barco with a plugin for AirFly Pro. And then, yeah, we're talking to some other bigger manufacturers. There is Neton Live, there is Zanus, who provides robotic solutions for cameras. So yeah, there are a couple of different ways how you can integrate SKAARHOJ.
Okay, and another question. This is about the RCP Pro unit. Is regarding camera shading on the how is that RCP Pro different and, or in that case, better from the other broadcast industry controllers, let's say Sony, for example, which is very popular.
Yeah, we are very much aware that Sony is sort of industry standard, and a lot of operators are used to Sony. So what we actually do for the joystick, the feel of the joystick is quite similar to the feel of the Sony joystick, but then you've got tons of improvements on the RCP Pro itself. So first of all, we do have our own implementations and our own configuration, but you're free to tweak the configuration as much as you want. In other manufacturer panels, usually you have RCP, and when you have white balance, it's always under white balance button or white balance encoder. While if you want to have white balance on a different encoder using RCP Pro, then there's nothing against you just changing it in our software and just selecting it. And then another thing is that the RCP Pro can control multiple devices at the same time. Okay. So you can actually select the camera which you're shading.
Okay, up to how many devices you can do that on the RCP Pro?
Currently, well, from the software point of view, we don't have a strict limit, but the current configuration, if you want to use our configuration, it allows, I think, 12, but I might be wrong. I might need to change it. Still, with the product like RCP, it is quite common that you have single RCP for single camera for quick use and quick accessibility, because RCP type of product, it goes to the productions where you actually have a person who is shading. And yeah, you can use one RCP for multiple cameras, but a lot of our customers are just using single RCP for single camera.
I see. And also I understand that you can grow. Let's say that you have a switcher that a surface control that can 1 ME, and you want to go to 2 ME. So that's, the system is modular, so you can add that. It's like they can be connected magnetically or something like that. That was for me was very interesting, that concept.
Yeah, so with modularity, you can start with just one panel. Let's say master Q1, but then you can say, okay, I want to have more inputs on this one. So you can add a device which provides you, which is called master key 48, which provides you additional buttons. Then another one, another one, and then you create longer ME-row. But then you can say, okay, I need a second ME-row. So you just add a second one, and then we can provide a framing. So it is also a nice layout for your hands, and yeah, it feels ergonomic.
Yeah, and also I noticed that all the products, or most of the products, are blue, but I believe that if a customer wants that to make a custom in black, they can do it, right?
Yes, some of the product, they come in black as default, or you can choose if you want to have blue or black version, and this is also in the price list. But if you have a specific product that is not in the price list in black, we can still make it. It would just be a bit longer lead time and a bit of extra cost. Okay,
and okay, Maciek, thank you. Do you have anything else that you want to show our audience?
Yeah, well, actually, I have a small demo here.
Okay.
Which I could share with you. Let me just share a screen again. Maybe let's start from here. So this is our software, which is called Reactor. And as I mentioned, you just type in the IP address of the panel. I have a panel here with me. I'm not sure if we can show it.
Yes, we can see it.
Maybe not. Anyway, I have a panel with me, so I'm just connected over Ethernet to the same switch, and I'm just reaching out the panel. with the IP address. Maybe let's start from scratch. So I will just start a new project. So you can see how it works when you just get it out of the box. So when you take it out of the box, it shows you the panel that you're connected in. In this case, I'm connected to PDZ Pro, and it loaded the generic PDZ control configuration, but you can choose something else. Those are configurations prepared by us, or you can create a custom configuration just from scratch. So what you can do now is you can add devices that you want to control, and we do have auto discovery. So if devices support that, if devices will pop up automatically, then we can just add them to our system. So let's add the item. Let's add, I wanted Canon, but somehow it doesn't find the Canon. C300, yeah. CRN 500, yeah, that's the one I wanted. So yeah, I've just added this panel here. It's disconnected, but anyway, I can simulate that. But yeah, what I wanted to show you is the Canon connectivity. So I've got my camera, and I can add multiple of those cameras. And now I just need to map them onto the controller. So I just press this add button and select. And what happened on my controller is actually the full configuration loaded on the controller. And on button number 1, on camera select number 1, I have my Canon. Actually, you can see what I see on my controller when you go to simulator, and then yeah, I can press the Canon, and I can change the shooting mode to something else. I can go for different menus. I can store the preset, and I can actually move the camera itself. And if you look here, yeah, now you can see the panel. And so I have the panel, I have my CRN 500 selected. When I move it, the screen would, or the picture would move. And then zooming out, it is a bit messy showroom. But yeah, it is heavily used by developers. And here, if you go through this door, or the door, wrong direction, sorry. Yeah, through this door, you can get to our studio where all of our videos are produced for our YouTube channel. So yeah, this is super quick and super easy setup. And then if you want to do something special, you can always go to configuration tab, and then you can click on every single button, like for example, for this one, and I can edit the parameter, select something else, like show the connection status, submit, confirm. And what happened is, on this button, I can see that my device is connected. So the changing of the configuration of the specific button, of the specific functionality, is also really, really quick. It depends, of course, what you want to do. If you want to do something really advanced, then it might take some time. If you want to go really, really advanced, then you can just type in JSON editor. And now I don't understand any of that, but some of you might understand, and I hope you do. No, actually, this is JSON file, which allows you to change the parameters or to change the configuration of the controller. So very, very useful thing if you're familiar with the scripting. And yeah, I've seen a lot of customers doing really crazy things with that.
Okay, Maciek, you're becoming very popular among our resellers and customers. I have another question. The next question is there any list of software that the SKAARHOJ system can control? So any software that the SKAARHOJ can control?
Well, from software, again, devices.skaarhoj.com. For example, Vimix is the software. And you will see Vimix over there. Yeah, I don't think we do support a lot of different softwares. Also, if you don't find something on devices.skaarhoj.com, then definitely you can contact us, or you can contact Intech, and you will contact us. We will look into that. If there is a high demand, definitely we want to do everything. We want to support everything. We want to be super universal.
Yes. Yeah, we are really glad that we're able to work with you now, Intech and our resellers base. But anyway, I believe that's all the questions that we have for today. So in this case, let me see, give it a few seconds. Anybody else wants to ask a question to Maciek? And let's see. Seems that no, that's it at this time. So anyway, Maciek, thank you for your time, and on behalf of Intech, we really want to thank you, you and SKAARHOJ, for this opportunity. Sorry over the delay, but it really was really interesting, enlightening webinar. And I'm sure that we are going to be coming with more questions later on, and that's going to be that we are going to get your systems soon, shortly in Intech, so we can distribute them.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. And yeah, if you have more questions, just let me know. I'm happy to answer everything.
Yes, and in order to close, I would like to say that I'm going to switch to Spanish. And en nombre de Intech, nuestro reconocimiento a SKAARHOJ y a Maciek por esta presentación, el know-how, todo el conocimiento que nos ha transmitido en el día de hoy. Y para todos ustedes que han atendido al seminario, muchas gracias por esta oportunidad y que nos permitan, como siempre, ser parte de sus negocios. Así que hasta cualquier momento, hasta la próxima. Muchas gracias nuevamente en nombre de Intech y SKAARHOJ.
Muchas gracias.
Good. Right. Thank you, Maciek. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.